What is up, everybody? Aero here, and today we're back again with this weird nameless series that I have that basically I'm going through and playing tracks on a set of Corsa that maybe have been ported over from other games, transferred over from other games, and that are fun to drift on. I know there's probably a series name in there somewhere, but screw it, I'm going with none. But today I have a little bit of a special treat. We've been going for more, other than the first one that I did, which was on Royal Raceway. Some Forza stuff, some Gran Turismo stuff. Today, I'm going to a track, and I'm going to show you two versions of this track with two different cars. So we are on the Shibuya track, the street track from Grid, the original Grid. This is a game that I'm sure that a lot of you guys have a lot of fond memories with, whether you're just playing through it or doing drifting or whatever. This is really, really fun game. Really enjoyed it as a child. We are using the WDT 800 180SX with the VR38 swap in it, because I've never driven this car in this pack and I wanted to kind of give it a go. This track's really fun, and what I'm going to show you later, because there's two versions. There's this one that I just found, and there was one that I found through a streamer, a friend of mine, twitch.tv/JackBanana, JAC Banana, was running a different version. It has a lot more pits to it. It might be a little bit better if you're running an online server, but I saw the video for this one. I'll link that in the description. Of course, all links will be in the description below, but this thing just looked cool. This track looked gorgeous, and I've never driven this version, so I'm really excited to kind of pop out and check it out with you. It looked really nice when we were just sitting there. I do have it set to night. The other version does not work at night, which is a thing. Let me turn the tires off. Cool. So we're at the end of the pits here, and welcome to Shibuya. So this track, I gotta say, looks so much better at night. The version that I was using was day, and you could change it to night, obviously, but didn't have any lights. But like, this has the little flares and chevrons there on the left, and it's the same exact layout. This actually, the track map is nicer on this version. Oh, hello, cobbles. Oh, this is neat. I sound like a 45-year-old dad. Wasn't that just neat? Isn't that just the neatest thing? Can't talk today. Like I said, the link to the video where I found this mod, which is actually the modder's original video, will be in the description below. Because, like I said, I think this one might not be as good to use in multiplayer, but it's definitely still fun. It's a bit better of a mod as well. A lot of this just looks a little bit more like Grid. Like, this is visually, I don't like to use the word stunning because it just sounds like an IGN like buzzword, but hey, the pits are over there. But let's add some power to it. Oh, it doesn't like the cobbles. My wheel doesn't like the cobbles. I don't know if you could hear the jittering, but my wheel is very upsetty spaghetti about that. Definitely a lot. I think it's a little bit narrower than the other version that I was driving. Just so pretty, though. Kind of just... Wheel doesn't like that. This is gorgeous, though. Oh. Let the revs drop like a dumby. I think the grip properties might be different on those bricks, you know, on the cobblestone. Because I can usually spin the wheels in fourth in this car pretty easy. In the, like, one test lap that I did of the other version. But as soon as we're on the cobbles here, I have all this grip. I even tuned some grip out of the car, added some tire pressure, just so I could, you know, not have to worry about the car fighting me as much, because we are driving a full track. Also turn tire wear off, because, you know, 800 horsepower drift car is going to go through your rear tires fairly quickly. Oh, God. You know, this version looks a lot nicer. I don't think drives as nice as the other one. Or maybe I'm just bad. I'm probably just bad. Definitely more grip on there. 100% more grip on there. You can feel it in the front end. Yep. As soon as you go into these cobbles. And then you come back onto the pavement, it's a lot smoother and not really struggling as much. Almost into the wall there. I'm good. But this is kind of the car that was made to drive here. I'm so bad at transitions. Only thing this track is missing, honestly, is the clips from the original game. And the clipping points, I mean. Because a lot of times when you're following people online, I'm sure a lot of people play a lot of us that will attest to this. is that people just kind of do shit. Oh, well, there is a gear there, Katie. People just kind of do shit. You know what I mean? Like, people just, like, there's obviously a defined line into some corners. Even tracks with cones and clipping points to show you where the line is. And they just kind of run what they want, do what they want. So these tracks like this, and the one that I'm probably going to show you next after this one, and I mean in a completely different video, not in the same video here, but people just kind of do their own thing. And that's okay, but when you're following somebody, I kind of need to know where you're going. You know what I mean? If you're not running a consistent line, or a line that's the wrong line you're supposed to be running on that track, it makes it very difficult to chase. Because you're basically just already trying to, as a chase driver, you're already trying to guess where that guy is going to be, when he's going to transition, and all that kind of stuff. But then you add another layer of difficulty to it. I was like, oh no, he's running inner clips, or no, he's on the outside now, or they're on the outside now, they're on the inside. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. But this is fun though, man. Very immersive. I'm sure if you have it, have VR too, with all the lights and everything. A little bit. Oh, why do I speak? All right, I can at least stretch this up to 5th. Let it come out to the wall. Oh, I was carrying way more speed, or way less speed than I thought I was. Okay, so one little check up there could have been worse. I still want to do one more lap. Oh man, that's so off-putting for my wheel. It's wild to me of how this game can look when you turn a couple of settings up and mess with the shaders and download the right mod at the right time, especially this game at night. I don't know if you could even see it during the preview when I was introducing the video, but the car even looks nice. Like the reflections off the car just make the model look that much better. Even WDT models usually look pretty nice. Driving could be so much better. This is like the only section I'm decent at. We're getting to these walls. It is a fast track though, and it's wide, which normally, like, if you're learning, which we'll get to later, wide tracks are great. So you can overshoot. Like, obviously you want to look for a line, and that's kind of the first thing that I look for when I'm learning a track or learning a car or whatever. But it's full through there. Is find a line and stick to it. Hit the wall. A little lift, but we're okay. A little bit of e-brake, foot brake to keep the car sideways. There we go. Rotate it. But it's nice and wide, so it gives you a lot of room, especially if you're online with a bunch of people with a different skill level. Whenever I'm picking a track to put in my server, it's usually something that's, you know, every once in a while I like to pick an easier track that is kind of like this, where it's nice and wide. Like I said, it is a little bit difficult to chase people sometimes, but for the most part, when you're learning, you'll be really stoked on that extra space because you're not constantly going off track or hitting things if you overshoot or undershoot. So it kind of gives you that a little bit more training wheel room to experiment and practice and figure out what lines work for you. I know a lot of people, when they start drifting, have this idea of where they want to drive into the corner and then just map the throttle, and they only start sliding about halfway through the corner. And when a track is tight, you're usually going to go off, hit the outside wall. At least here you've got, would you say, like 5 or 6 car lanes? Like, you're not limited to one line. Like, you could run outer, inner. And it's just a great track to solo as well. Like, I did drive this track online a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, I do not have footage of that because I'm a bad person. This track's just fun to drive. Nice and smooth. It's very fluid. A little bit of everything. You have these more complicated. It is, like, you know, for what it is, it's fast, but you have these more complicated areas. You have these big sweepers. You really have to be bold with the throttle here. We're on top of 5th. I'm going to cut a little bit narrow here. See if we can bring it out to the wall. Full throttle. Carry the speed. Minimal slowdown there that time. Back down to 4th. This car transitions so quick. And then even now you can go to the inner and see if I can do this without killing myself. You can hear how scared I was. Bring it all the way out to the wall. So there's this version, which I think, you know, at first glance is absolutely beautiful. Again, I don't really know how it's gonna transition or translate to being online and running something with your friends or whatnot. But just as a track in itself, like, it's beautiful. But we are going to switch cars, and we're going to go to the other version and kind of just see how they compare, and maybe why you'll choose that one over this one. Before I do that, though, I'm obviously going to show you a replay lap. All right, so we are at the other version of Shibuya. Again, as you can see, it is daytime. This is a different track, technically. And we are in a different car. WDT Street instead of WDT 800. Same sort of idea with physics, just trying to keep things simple. But definitely something a lot lower power and something that is not an 800 horsepower GTR powered 180. This is a SR, 300 something horsepower, definitely a street car. Something a bit more common that you would see in online lobbies as well. And another difference is this track has 30 pits versus 11 pits on the other version. It might be a little bit easier on your system as well if you don't have a computer that can really handle, you know, 11 cars on that track, because there is quite a bit of detail. So I'm not going to waste you too much time explaining the track or anything. Let's just get out there, get some runs in. Again, this is a very different car. You'll see a couple of subtle differences in the track. I think the main difference of this one is the grip level. So come through here. You'll notice that coming through this area, there's no cobblestone. Yeah, there's no cobblestone through here. So it's just pavement. So you don't get that rattling in the wheel, and I don't feel like the car grips up as much as it did. But you see, we're making it work with this amount of power. This is not a track that you need these big power numbers. It's definitely a little bit more fun, but it's not necessary. If you're one of those guys that's like, you know, I gotta have my WDT Street, I want street style, and we're gonna have a conversation later about mods, and not in this video, obviously this will be a different video, but not mods, but something else about comes to Assetto mods, something that I'm noticing, kind of getting involved in the community. I'm not quite in the Assetto community, I wouldn't consider yet. I'm just a guy who likes playing, likes jumping online, and made a couple of friends, but nothing like, I am a pillar of the Assetto. No, I would assume that most Assetto people have no clue who I am, and that's totally fine. This is a community that I wanted to get into for a while, but I've been scared to look like I'm bad at a video game. Can you believe that? But this track, I think, if you're running it with people, or doing more than a couple laps, or you're just focusing on drifting, I know it's not visually as nice, but because there's no cobblestone, or the cobblestone is just cosmetic and doesn't actually do anything to your car, but because of that change, it's a lot nicer to drive through. Again, I know this is a different car completely, but I was just driving the WDT 800 car, this version, and then I went to look up, you know, where to find the mod for this track, like the actual link, so I could actually link it to you. And I was like, oh, interesting. There's two versions, and one looks a lot nicer than the other. But I generally do think this one drives better than the other one, which is weird. It's probably less accurate, and I don't think it's like, and you can take that for what you will, but I think because it's less accurate, it does end up being a little bit better of an experience. Unfortunately, no replay cameras here, which, mod makers, please. I love replay cameras, and I'm too lazy to make my own. So you don't have those blinking lights or the chevrons or anything like that on this one. Well, they're there, but they're not like blinking and moving, and they're not as detailed. But because of that, it might be a little bit easier to run, you know, with 10 or 15 people on track and all the smoke. And if your computer is not as strong or not built to the same specs, it might be a little bit easier for you. So I'm actually really cool, or this is actually really cool seeing these tracks back to back and seeing the difference. But in terms of how it is to drive, this is a track that is, in my opinion, very fun with high and low speed vehicles. As you see here, this is not necessarily, it's not like a stock A86, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, you know, you gotta use the clutch to shift. It's not necessarily a low speed track, and this isn't necessarily like an underpowered car, but I think these are that's all. I think these are some of the most popular low powered cars in Assetto Corsa, especially online. So these are ones that you're seeing quite a bit. So I figured I'd use, especially since I used two WDT packs, I figured it'd be like a cool little experiment. But Definitely nice to drive with these though, but you are on the limit. I mean, I like to consider myself a fairly quick driver. I know there's probably some people out there watching like, oh, you're such a slow, blah, 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 but like I try to consider myself pretty fast, and I am on it. Like you look at my throttle on the left, like you see I'm barely. I forgot to move my cameras back, by the way, from the replay. So, but we're already doing it. We're doing it live. You see my right foot rarely comes fully off the throttle, just for transitions, and sometimes not even that. So this is a very fast track, and the more your tires heat up and the higher the PSI gets in the back, the easier it's going to be. You'll notice that a lot of times I was gripping up and forth. Now we're going through the section. It's still a bit of a struggle, but we're being able to use a little bit more of the gear in the car. I don't think we're getting up to 5th gear anytime soon, but pit entrance is right there. Oh, I screwed that up. I wanted to run the wall, but came at it too weird of an angle. We'll do one more lap here. Woo! Okay, that was a bit wacky of an entrance. I love these cars though, man. WDT Street's a very, very fun pack. If you don't have it already, give it a check out. Again, the links to all the mods, both tracks and both car packs will be in the description below. As always try to have my sources for you guys, unless the mod is private or work in progress, or the modder does not want me to make it readily available to you guys. It's probably my favorite part, just getting out far left as I dare, and flicking it back. Oh boy, almost lost it. Flicking it back over and back over again. Down to 3rd. Can we get some of this wall? Nope. Can I come back from this? Kind of. That's a 0, but you know, it's all good. Only person judging me is me, baby. Such a fun track. This track's definitely worth a check out regardless of what you're into. That's kind of why I wanted to post this. Whether you're a solo player that only kind of likes driving by themselves, or you do want to jump on with your friends and you guys have a server together, I think this track's absolutely worth your time. Also, it's a great little throwback if you're an old grid fan, such as myself. The drifting in grid is, I don't think, ever been matched by an arcade game since, and it's been 12 years. Come on, Keenan. Okay. I almost had it. Yeah, I'll show you some bumper cam of this, because like I said, there is no replay footage of this track, or replay cameras. That'd have been a lot cooler if I could have did that a little bit more consistently. But thank you guys for watching. Again, I really want to see what you guys have for suggestions in the description below when it comes to tracks or cars or whatever from other games. I am going to start branching out from game tracks, because there's a combo that I found on another friend's server the other night that was very, very, very fun. But I really would like to get some tandem footage of it, and it's 2 in the morning. So, not going to assemble the Avengers here anytime soon. But thank you guys very much for watching. Again, leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more drifting content and Assetto stuff, because it's something that I'm really, really passionate about right now, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But, yeah, guys, I appreciate it. And again, for those who didn't hear, thank you very much for 10 awesome views on YouTube. It wouldn't be the same without you. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!